Good afternoon. I would like to welcome you all to the press briefing today and here at the Villa am Greisbachsee. This is the new artist residency from the Monheim Triennale, and I hope it's okay with you that we are speaking English today. This is because of international guests and also audience following us via the live stream online. I'm happy to shortly explain the agenda for today. The press briefing will last about 1 hour, and after that you have the possibility to ask questions here on spot, but also in the chat. I would like to welcome the panel. We have a wonderful panel today with Daniel Zimmermann, Mayor of the city of Monheim am Rhein, who will speak first today. And he will be followed by Festival Director Rainer Michalke, who will give us an update on the program that we can expect for the festival in July. Then we are very delighted that we will be joined today by two signature artists. Please welcome with us Yunia Edikwon, next to Rainer Michalke, and Julia Olela. We reach both of them very early. Julia Olela is in Tucson, Arizona, and we are reaching Yunia from New York. Good morning. They will, of course, tell us more about the plans that they have for July. And then finally, we will also get more information from Edith Langgartner. She is head of the orchestra class in the music school in Monheim am Rhein, and she will talk about a local collaboration project that she is planning on a long-term basis already with Achim Tam, who's also here. Here. So they will talk about all the different collaboration projects in the city. Enjoy. And I hand over to Daniel Zimmermann.
Okay, thank you. Is this on? Okay. Well, thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon to everybody. And I'm very happy and pleased that we together are able to present to you now the program, the agenda for the festival for the third year of the second Triennale cycle that we are looking forward right now. And I would like to take the opportunity also to look back a little bit into the development of the festival and its relation to the city and the citizens here. I mean, it has been a big experiment for a smaller sized city like Monheim am Rhein when we asked Rainer Michalke about 7 years ago to create a music festival for Monheim. And I'm very glad that during these years we have created a good acceptance and a lot of interest amongst our people here in the city. The city has always been very involved in cultural education. We will certainly talk about that topic later on. Our music school here, the city's music school, is very active. We have 60% of all primary school students who learn an instrument, which is a quite high rate. We have our own our youth art school with a lot of activities. Monheim is the home of the very well-known German author Ulla Hahn, and her old family's house is today used as a center for kids and young people for literature and writing. So Monheim really feels like the heart of cultural education. This is very important to us. And the idea was to find in every field of this culture education an equivalent, also in the adult and big art field. And this is certainly the Triennale for everything that we do in music. So all these young people are very interested in music, in the music that you can experience at the festival. But we've also experienced that they take along their parents, and thanks to all the efforts that is also done by the Triennale team to let young people participate, to let them meet the artists, to play together. There are very good formats of also introducing young people to the artists and to the Triennale. So this has already shown a lot of fruits to the city and to the acceptance in the city. And I think now today, we've agreed of 3 cycles that we have contracted Rainer Michalke for the Triennale. Now it's a little bit more than the half. So I think it's the right time to say thank you for all these efforts, the connection that has grown between young and older people in the city to the music and the festival. And I'm really looking forward to the second half that is coming now, to the next 4 years. And of course, I'll hope that we will continue the Triennale even further. But this is the point to say that we are very confident and satisfied about the development so far.
Thank you for the nice introduction. Also very welcome for me. I give you I think it's important for the ones who are not that familiar with the Monheim Triennial. I give you it might be boring for some of you who know already, but I give you a little bit of survival what we're doing here, what triennial means. So we're talking about a period of 2 years that always starts with a festival of sound art installations in the city, and it will be followed, continued by the prequel. We call it the prequel. Has happened last year, when the 16 artists that are chosen by our curators meet for the very first time here in the city and prepare their so-called signature projects, which they present this year. So in the 3rd year, which is the final year of every cyclist, is the festival where the 16 so-called signature artists presents their signature projects. So to do it to give the whole picture. And now we are at the end of the 2nd triennial, of Triennial 2. This is the final year. And the program I'm now going to present you is very, very special to me. I have to say on the first glance, it's not spectacular if you're looking for big names. On a second glance, to me, to my personal opinion, it's the most spectacular program. It's the most adventurous program, or simply to say it's the very best program I had the pleasure to work on. If you look into all the details on what all these 16 artists are presenting, it's a brutal density of contemporary music from very well-chosen artists from all over the world. And they will come to Monheim, bring another over 100 artists to make it happen, to present their projects. And we look on the paper, we don't hear the music, we just see what we have here on the paper. But if it looks very, very promising, and I'm super proud to present today parts of it. It would get too long if I got all the 16 or 14, because we have two guests here with us today who will present their projects. But I just more or less by accident or by random, I choose three projects which I will get a little bit deeper into, just as an example of what to expect. And I choose the Horns Trio from last year's prequel. Some of you might remember it. That was to me a very, very, very interesting and convincing performance by Peter Evans, Shannon Burnett, and Darius Jones. And I just choose these three ones to give you an insight of what we can expect. Starting with Peter Evans. There's also a nice story by Peter Evans. You know, Sophia Janberg had invited Peter at the first triennial for her signature project, and now Peter is inviting Sophia as a sort of, let's say, payback to his signature project, which has no name so far. I have to say, most of all these projects are world premieres. So they will be the very first time that they will present it in here in Monheim. Some are only European premieres, but most of them are world premieres. And there's no name so far. But Peter's idea was something like opera-like. So he has three things. One of them is Sophia Janberg, and his composition. I guess he's writing now. He's in the middle of finishing the composition. Is also related on Johann Sebastian Bach, on the work of his composition work, and I'm very so he this is the very first time that Peter writes for sort of three singers, three voices, in an opera style way, and we had a lot of discussions because we have a strict rule in here in Monheim that the signature projects has a duration of maximum 40 minutes, 40 minutes, not 50, not 45, 40. Otherwise it's too much. We have too much. So, but what Peter plans to write is more than 40. So we decided to split it in two parts. So there will be two performances. 40 minutes, in total 80 minutes, and it will happen in the nighttime. It will be late night concerts at the Soyuz on Friday and Saturday. So there's no name so far, but it looks like a very interesting combination. And there's a band. The band is his backbone band, and for the very first time he has Tyshawn Surrey in his band as a drummer. And that's also maybe, you never know, but this could be also a link into future triennials. Maybe Tyshawn could be one who could be a possible signature artist for the third triennial, if there's one. So, but there's also some more happening around Peter. So Peter is also very much engaged in community projects and cooperation projects. We will talk about this later. He will continue his Peter Evans workshop band, which is quite important. Peter will also be guest star in Lukas Wandinger's project, which has the name Italic Halo. And Peter also wants to play again with the Horns Trio. That's also set. So he will play together with Darius and Shannon. And he wants also to continue and to repeat his concert he did on the boat very briefly without announcement last year with Anushka Scheitze and Brie Chambay. So that will happen too. And you see, there's a lot of coincidences, a lot of cross playing, a lot of interaction between all the musicians, starting from the prequel, and now it comes to realization on the final program. So second project I want to introduce to you is Shannon Burnett. Shannon is a trombonist based in Cologne, coming originally from Australia. And she is writing, or I guess she's also in the middle of writing, also a complete new piece of music. This is called How Much Is the Moon? That has already a name, a title. And also her band is her backbone. But she invited musicians from Australia, from her home country. And she's collaborating with the EOS Chamber Orchestra, led by Henrika Enzian for the first time. We already know the EOS Chamber Orchestra. They were in Monheim playing together for Ingrid Laubrock's project, signature projects, 3 years ago. And that will be a 20-piece chamber orchestra. And at the same time, this will be the from the musician's size, the biggest project. This one will be on the festival boat. You will see we have a lot of different venues for different purposes. This will be, Shannon's project will be on the festival boat, which has the biggest stage, and will stay again our main stage. Also, Shannon is also doing a quite nice community project, cooperation. It's called Keep It in the Church, but it doesn't happen in the church. It happens at Soyuz on Wednesday. So keep in mind, we have a lot of a broad spectrum. So the very first day is July 2nd, is the Wednesday, and that's the day where we have almost only local corporations. And Shannon is preparing this Keep It in the Church. It's a brass band, referring to the music of New Orleans brass 100 years ago. And so far I heard from Achim, this is really a super fun, bass, adventurous project, right? So we're looking forward to this on Wednesday, July 2nd, at Soyuz. In the afternoon, right? I don't have the time. 6 o'clock? Okay, good. So a third but not least is a project of Darius Jones, which is really, really special. The name of it is Same Soul Maker. And there are a lot of things to tell about, but one remarkable thing is Darius is not playing in it. He's just the composer. It's a piece of composed music for, again, a lot of voices we have here. It's for 4 voices, bells, and vibraphone. And there has been, before, one single performance at Roulette in Brooklyn last year, so it will be the European premiere. And Darius want to have it in a church. He's grown up in churches. His music is very much related to this sort of room, to the acoustics, and also to all this what comes with a church. And we will do it in the Altstadtkirche. It will be performed twice, on Saturday noon and Sunday noon, right? I got it right. So, and it's yes, and it's really impressive. It's also with costumes, and it's also a piece of performance, with a lot of visual aspects, but mainly it's music. But Darius is for sure coming to Monheim, and he's performing, not with his signature project, but he will perform in the horns trio, obviously. But he has also some nice ideas. I think what he wants to do is a quintet together with string musicians. And so we have string musician, Junia, you will be part of it, right, of Darius' project. And Peter will be part, but, you don't know? What did she say? No? You don't know so far? So, news for you. Yeah.
News for me.
News for you. Okay, Julia, so this is, so Darius will approach you to invite you to his project, what he will do during and I thought that happens already. Okay, so it's on my, okay. And there will be also some musicians, and this is now the bridge to Julia. So he also will invite, or has already invited, I'm not quite sure, Josh Zubat, violinist from Vancouver, and Peggy Lee, cello player from Vancouver, who both are quite very much related to Darius' music, but who are even more related to Julia's music, right, Julia? So these two guys will come to you. Will bring them to Monheim, and yeah, please, stage for you for your project.
Okay.
Julia Olela from
Thank you so
Vancouver,
much.
early in the morning. What is your time now?
It is 6:23 in the morning.
So
Very early.
sorry for this.
No, not at all. Once in a while, it's okay. Thank you so much. I'm Julia Ulehla. It's so inspiring to hear all these projects that are coming, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I will bring. So it will be, I think you could call it the world premiere, definitely the European premiere with the entire band. We're doing a trio version in Vancouver soon, but I lead a project called Dalava. And we're releasing a record on Pi Records May 2nd, which is called Understories. And so the performance that I'll give at Monheim is the debut of this music from Understories. And it features Aram Bajakian, who is my life and creative partner, and also, as Rainer mentioned, Peggy Lee, the cellist, and Josh Zubat, violin. And so the source material for this is, if you attended the last summer, is some of it are these folk songs, which come from a region between the Czech and Slovak border called Slovácko. And these songs were collected and transcribed by my great-grandfather, Vladimir, from like 1906 to 1947. And so the idea of this record, I feel like in the past, my dad was a refugee to Canada and then the US from communist Czechoslovakia. So I have this kind of ruptured relationship with folk culture. And it's been a kind of like embodied search for reconnection. And I feel in the past, there's been this strong desire to, I don't know, follow Vladimir's way. He was a scientist and a biologist. I was working on this material, doing a PhD in ethnomusicology, but this record and the material that I'm presenting really take a different turn, which feels like a kind of deep dive into spirit, into ancestry, into intuition. And I would say almost is not aesthetic, or not only aesthetic. It's more like a kind of ritual for difficult times, which, as we know, are all around, or I feel them all around. And so I've been thinking a lot about, for example, a recent visit in the Oval Office of Zelensky, and what kind of hospitality was shown, or maybe a lack of hospitality. And it really got me thinking to this word hospitality, which is related to the English word hospital, hospice, hostile, from a Latin root hospes, which is around a kind of reciprocity between guest and host. And I went even deeper, and it actually has a Proto-Indo-European root, which is ghosty, from which the word guest arrives, host, and even ghost. And you think of like a host as in spirit possession. And so this idea of a kind of radical hospitality for what comes between audience and performer, and trying to be present with all that arrives. And so that's the work that I'm going to show while I'm in Monheim. And I think also there will be a duet with Brie in the tiny little chapel that is just recently confirmed. And I'm so excited to be back and to hear what everyone has to do. And let me know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Julia.
And yeah, I think I pass it to you now.
Yes. Thanks for your explanation. Thank you very much. Junia, so it's your turn to tell us what you're planning So I have to say what I saw already on here on the paper is really, something really special. But please explain it to us what you are planning to do.
Well, thank you so much, and hi everyone. Good morning from New York. It's really a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you all today, and also to be part of this extraordinary triennial. I'm going to share just a little bit about the piece that I'll be bringing this summer, which will be a world premiere. The work is called Silver Through the Grass Like Nothing, and it's an ensemble work. Previously, I had explored these themes as a solo interdisciplinary performance, but this will be the very first time that I'm bringing extraordinary artists together. There will be 7 of us in total. The work is an ensemble piece that connects to this extraordinary history of sari, or pearl relics. These are the pearl-like remnants found in the cremated remains of spiritual masters like shamans and monks. The piece is also an exploration of my own episodes of mysterious, disabling illnesses over the past 5 years. And as I was reflecting on these experiences, I began to understand them as expressions of spiritual sickness and as points of fundamental transformation. So this work, Silver Through the Grass Like Nothing, is an attempt to connect the history and entangled mythologies of these pearl relics with a kind of mythology of my own construction that has helped me understand these moments in my life of immense suffering. So I have the privilege of bringing together some incredible artists, each who have their own careers and amazing practices as composers and performers. We have Darian Donovan Thomas on violin, Joanna Matry on viola, Tamika Reed on cello, Henry Fraser on double bass, Dudu Kuate on percussion and ritual instruments, and Nava Dunkelman on percussion and ritual instruments. So together, we're going to be crafting a kind of ritual convergence of different continuums, including embodied story singing through composition, and of course, lots of improvisation. So overall, I'm imagining a kind of bardo-like meditation on sickness, grief, and the body's pull toward transformation. So I'm so excited to be able to premiere this work in its entirety at Mannheim this summer, but that's not all I'm going to be doing. I'm so excited to be collaborating with Achim and the young artists, the young musicians of the youth orchestra. And perhaps now is a good time to hand it over to Edith, who will share a little bit more about our ongoing collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you, Junia. And I'm looking forward to continue the work we started already last year with Achim, who linked the project I teach since 2019. He linked this class orchestra to improvisation workshop with Junia and Shazad Ismaili already last year. And they visited our music school and worked with the children, and we had a little presentation with video, and we continue this project in this year. Junia composed a little melody and Achim arranged this for the orchestra. We talked about, and now we started with the preparation for the workshop. We will have just before the festival. There will be included improvisation and composition. And I'm looking very forward to the interaction of Junia and the kids who will leading also. It will be very amazing for us. May I say something about the orchestra classes?
Yes,
I'm representing the music school and the cooperation projects from the music school with the Triennale Festival. And the Mayor Daniel Zimmermann told about the 50% of children, 60% who starts in the primary school with learning an instrument, and I would say the other 40% starts in the 5th grade. It's not, in fact, it's not true, because the 60% who started already, they continue in our class programs of all 3 schools. And I'm in the cooperation with the high school Otto Hahn Gymnasium, and there we have a class orchestra with instruments, strings, wind, and percussion. And we include advanced pupils from the primary school programs with beginners. Some came from the neighbor towns, Langenfeld, Leverkusen, and sometimes they didn't continue their instrument. They change the instrument, but we start with about 30 children in every year. And this year, it's the 6th grade orchestra class who will performing for the festival edition. And we started with the same group in the last year, because for us it's important to have a long-term preparation, and we try to integrate in our program, so the progress and the success are both important. And we can have this with wonderful Achim Tang, who came to us and plan with us, and so we have can guarantee success for the students. Thank you for this cooperation. And thank you, Junia, for your inspiring violin playing. This is for our students. It's wonderful to are connected with international artists, and to have the big feeling from our participant of a great festival.
You know, it's such an honor to be able to be part of a young person's journey as they discover improvisation and their voice as artists. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Edith, for all these warm words and all the introduction of our project, which is only one of many projects. We are, as Daniel Zimmermann already said, we are continuously working with people in the city on the festival, but also off the festival. So even in the time where there's no festival, there's always things going on, collaborations between people in the city and artists, or we do special programs with students or with children. So this is one, between many other things, one of the Alleinstellungsmerkmale of the festival. So one of the real special things about the Monheim Triennale is not only the idea of presenting a signature artist with world premieres and having all these great artists coming. I'm really excited to see all these people here and to hear all the music. But the other thing is that this is a continuously project trying to develop a relation between the city and the art, and not making a difference between these two things. So this is I keep saying this every year, but I can't stop. It's such an important thing for me, and I'm very privileged and honored to have the chance to run this program, and to have a chance to last year work with Julia And this year work was Junia and Shazad and many others. We are going to present every day of the festival. We will have collaborations with people, with children, with adults, with different choirs. I'm not going to mention all the programs. You get a sheet later where you can read everything. So it's boring if I talk about this now. Thank you.
Thank you, Achim. Just for you to know who are writing here on a piece of paper, you will get from us a handout at the end of this briefing, where everything more or less, even more, is written than what we're talking now. So you will get everything in a written form. And for the ones who are not here present, is that we will open up everything on the website at 3 o'clock. Is that right? Yeah, 3 o'clock is 3 o'clock. So the whole program will be published on our website, available at 3 o'clock. So before we give you the chance for a Q&A, the last thing I want to present is we already talked about, or we have let you know that there has been also a documentary, a film project happening last year during the prequel. And we got the chance that Mika Kaurismäki was already here in the villa, so we had a talk with him last year, that he did a documentary about the prequel, and this is finished now. It's ready, and it has become an 82 minutes documentary. When I heard about 80 minutes, I was a little bit, oops, that's a long, but then surprisingly enough, it's really, time was flying, and then to me it was like 10 minutes, so it was really a very, very nice documentary about what we're doing here. And it will come into cinemas, into art house cinemas in the summer, and will be broadcasted on Arte in the late summer. But we have already the trailer, so there we have the short piece of, but 90 seconds, and we have it for you here. I'm not sure whether Junia, whether you can see it. Well, they can. So, because we use these two screens to show you the trailer of the documentary. 90 seconds. Please run. Let it run. Please.
I'm taking you to a tiny town in Germany of Monheim am Rhein. This boat is going to turn into a performance space.
This is a chemical situation you never know beforehand.
An opportunity like this is so valuable for your creative mind.
We don't try to control.
We're trying to find something so true. You commit 100%.
Human soul needs culture.
Space where things can just be spontaneous.
It resets your thinking to art making for the process itself.
Documenta der aktuellen Musik.
How many hearts have we lost?
When it's your turn to play, play.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. 80 minutes, 82 minutes. So, but we will have, before we have a presentation in Monheim for sure. We have to find still the date, but looking forward to this one in the summer. Yeah. So that's what I have on paper. Now it would be time to answer your question, if you hopefully have more than one.
Yeah, I would just like to ask you to use the microphone. If you have a question, I can hand it over to you. Anybody?
Hi, my name is Vanessa, and I have a question for the both of you. And it would be like, how did all the projects like influence your creative mind? I mean, Unia, you told us that it's really interesting for you to like work together with the younger people. Like, how did like this like fresh like air influence your music in general and the projects that you're doing? And I found it really interesting that Julia told us about this part, like with the hospitality and all the, like you both have like a really spiritual key to your projects. I found that really interesting, and me being an artist myself, not in music, but in exhibition and set design, I find it very interesting, like how Monheim maybe influenced you and its hospitality maybe, and the people around, and like how you were greeted here. That would be my question.
Do you want to go first, Unia? Or
I can speak briefly to that. It's a beautiful question. Thank you. You know, I will say that you can always tell when you are visiting a community whether or not the children have access to music. As somebody who has been a teacher for most of my life, I know just how deeply transformative music education can be. So to visit a community like Mannheim as an artist and as a collaborator, knowing that so many children have access to high quality music education, for me is very profound. And so I know that when I enter that community, it's a community that really cherishes expression, creativity, and freedom. It cherishes the community building impact that music can have. And so that makes me as an artist very, very excited to join you, to be able to witness the creativity and the music that's already happening in the city. And that makes me, I guess, more at ease, knowing that my work that I'm going to be bringing and offering is going to be received by a community that loves music. And that makes all the difference. And that's not always the case. That would be my response.
Thank you.
yes, it's a beautiful question. And also what you said, Unia, is so beautiful and just puts me back to like what's important as we like coexist together. And I also had the immense privilege of working with the choir last year on some of the songs that I carry, and to hear it just felt so generous to hear like these 20 youth sing songs that my great grandfather transcribed, like working through a language that they didn't know, trying to put that language into their mouth. And what the thing that really struck me last time, which is this is part of it, is it is a beautiful hosting that Monheim is doing. And this fact that all the musicians come, there's all these different ways of working together in the community. And it starts to feel very organic. Like sometimes I think these projects can feel a little performative, but that was not my sense ever. Because partly the duration of time, because we live together over these days. And one of the things that I think is so beautiful about this concept of ghosty, or when we really start thinking about hospitality, is that no one is ever only the host and no one is ever only the guest. It's like a thing which is changing all the time. And because we all, the artists came, it's like we witnessed what each other does, we do what we do. And it really, to me, does stop being a kind of like consuming art for entertainment, but it's something else. It's like art can be a vehicle for something else. And it is a spiritual practice. I think definitely for me, and it sounds for you too, Unia, not that it has to be, but it can be. And when it does, it's like the whole bottom drops out and the whole ceiling blows open and all of these connections start to be made. Yeah, and just swimming inside that soup last year was so inspiring for me. And I feel like you just get like more and more porous and more permeable and more present. Yeah.
Thank you. I really like your view like on art. It's really beautiful. Thank you for your answers.
Any further questions?
Yeah, thanks you all for your presentation. And some of you mentioned collaborations with organizations, choirs, music school in the city. You have since last year the Kiev Symphony Orchestra here as a residency. Is it also part of the Triennale Festival this year?
No.
No.
No, we not in a collaborational part, because when we were planning everything, so the Kiev Orchestra was just flying in, and we hope to have them as our guests. So they will truly be invited as joining the fest. But the only opening so far for orchestra musicians was the project of Shannon, and she decided for the EOS Chamber Orchestra, and but yeah, the question was up for us, but we didn't want to offer it quite offensively to the other musicians. But for the future to come, there is definitely a window open, and depending on musicians' needs, yes.
And please, another question related to the Kulturfactory or the Kulturraffinerie. Yeah, genau. What's going on with that? I went to the website this morning and I read that it should have been opened in autumn last year. How are the buildings developing now, actually?
Yeah, actually, that was the planification like 5 years ago, but unfortunately, like the construction works took a little bit longer than planified. We will open the venue in summer 26. So for the third circle of the Triennale, this place will be ready. We have it's located next to the River Rhine. It's an old refinery hall, and we will have a capacity, depending on the installation of chairs, up to 2,000 visitors attending the concerts. And we're looking forward that this place will be ready for the third cycle then.
Great, yeah.
Any further questions?
My question goes to the mayor. It is known that you will resign from your job this year. So that is your last press conference, at least on this side of the table. Possibly you'll be sitting here on our side. And the remaining question is, and the important question is, how long will this be going on without the presence of Daniel Zimmermann? We don't know the result of the elections, because they will be in September. Please just draw a line under which circumstance the Triennale will go on, and under which other circumstance the Triennale will possibly be stopped.
Well, first of all, I would like to say that I'm not resigning, but I only have taken the decision not to run for a fourth term as a candidate. But yes, you're right. I won't be the mayor from November on. But I would like to remind you that when the city council has taken the decision to host the Triennale and also to make the contract with Rainer Michalke, we had a majority of every single voice in the council. So that was not a decision that was taken by the majority of voices, but all the parties that are in the city council have supported the idea of the festival. So I I'm very convinced that this support will be the same whether there will be a changement in the majority in the council or not. And I'm also looking forward and I'm hoping that my nowadays vice mayor will be the new mayor. But of course, this is a democracy. Voters will decide. But with all the appreciation and acceptance that the Triennale has created amongst the citizens, I'm sure, I'm very convinced that the Triennale will go on.
You're convinced, but there are no treaties or contracts so far. You're convinced, and this is your hope you expressed now, but there's no treaties or contracts that the festival will go on after you have quit your job.
Yes, but I mean, in a democracy, you can't have like security for forever. And I have a big trust and belief in the citizens and also the voters of Monheim, that they have appreciated the festival during the last years, and that nobody wants the festival to be stopped. So this is also, I mean, in a democracy, you have to have this support from the community, from the city, and it's there. So I don't see any reason why the festival shouldn't go on.
Thank you very much. Any further questions or comments? Then I would like to thank you as well. We have heard a lot about all the upcoming projects, and if you want to inform yourself, we have prepared a press kit, so you can get it when you go out, and you can also find all the information online. Also, we are starting to publish the Monheim papers, so if you really want to study in depth what Junia and Julia, for example, were talking about, you find more information also on our website. And and of course, thank you all for coming, and we are happy to see you again in July. From tomorrow, we start selling day tickets also, so if you have like a special request seeing a specific program, there's also the possibility to buy day tickets from tomorrow, from noon. You can buy the tickets. Yeah, thank you all for coming, and see you soon.
Now we invite you to drink outside.